What's up, guys? My name is Devin and I am the host of Let's Play Survivor, and in this video I'll be going over my thoughts and predictions for season 49 of Survivor. Alright, so I'm going to start this prediction video with our 5 pre-merge boots. In no particular order, I have Jeremiah from the Kele tribe, MC and Steven from the Hina tribe, and Shannon and Sage from the Uli tribe. In other iterations of a Survivor season, some of these players could go very deep. I could see Jeremiah being a strong strategic threat. I could see Shannon being a strong social threat. And then MC, Steven, and Sage, I could see all being very deep, strong players with a combination of strategy and physicality. Unfortunately, for season 49, I have these 5 as our pre-merge boots. In 18th place, I have Shannon from the Uli tribe. Shannon is big hippie energy, very big on vibes. I just don't get a good feeling from her on this Uli tribe. She seems as though she will probably be the weakest player, and on top of that, I just don't see her fitting in with her tribe mates around her. In 17th place, I have Jeremiah. Jeremiah is very interesting to me, and you'll probably hear me say that about a lot of these players because I do see a world in which pretty much everybody could, in theory, go deep or, in theory, be a first boot. Unfortunately for Jeremiah, I feel like it is more likely for him to go home early. I feel like he is too bougie for the game of Survivor, and I feel like once he gets out there, he's going to get slapped in the face and realize how difficult this game is. While I do see him being a strategic player, I don't think he will get the chance to showcase it. In 16th place, I have Sage. Sage is a player who I have seen other people feel very highly on. However, for me, watching her preseason Meet the Cast videos, I did not get good feelings right away as soon as she started speaking. And it might just be a me issue, but she kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit. And it's not that she did anything wrong or is saying anything necessarily. I just feel like she is a little brash in how she carries herself. And unlike Shannon, who I feel like is just going to be kind of an oddball, I feel like Sage is going to rub the castaways on her tribe wrong, which will ultimately lead to her being an early boot. 15th place, I have Steven, the rocket scientist. Steven, I think, is going to way overplay his hand. There is no world in which Steven should go home this early. This is a big swing, in my opinion. Taking out arguably your strongest player this early is kind of recipe for disaster. With that being said, I feel like Steven is going to come in and play way too hard. Not only is he going to play way too hard, I feel like his high energy is going to rub the people around him wrong. And while he is a very nice guy and he's highly intelligent, I feel like he might lack a little bit of that social awareness and might not realize how he comes across to others. And so I feel like he's going to get caught early, searching for idols, making alliances with the entire tribe, and just being a little too sneaky, a little too underhanded, and playing a little too hard. 14th place is another shocker. I have MC. I actually see MC and Steven having an early bond with each other, and in the same way Steven is going to overplay his hand, I feel like MC's lack of Survivor knowledge. She has only watched the show for 6 months prior to actually being on season 49, and I feel like she is going to attach to the hip with Steven, and much like Steven, she is going to overplay her hand. And for her personally, I feel like it is a lack of knowledge, and I don't know. Also, the fact that she is super strong, I feel like this would be a good spot to snipe her. You don't want those strong challenge threats going into the merge, and so it was a little bit of combination of both. All right, so next I have the Earn the Merge. This is where all of the tribe mates essentially come together as one team on one beach playing individually, but they're not technically merged, question mark, makes no sense. It is a staple of the new era. And I have Jake Latimer going out in 13th place as our Earn the Merge boot. Watching his preseason videos, this man is an absolute sweetheart. He has multiple stories that can win over the hearts of America and the tribe mates around him. Unfortunately, he is our cliche big guy. I feel like the cliche big guy always scares people off early into the merge portion of the game. And so at the first chance of everybody being together on one beach, I see him just unfortunately being the low man on the totem pole. I feel like his previous Kele tribe, the Blue Tribe, will unfortunately sacrifice him to develop greater social bonds that will take them deeper into the game. I have Jake 13th place, Earn the Merge boot in the pre-jury. So as you know, our 12th and 11th place finishers in the new era are a product of the double boot tribe split episode. And unfortunately, I have Sophie Segretti going out in 12th place. I feel like Sophie is going to be a very strong player on the Hina tribe. I have a feeling as though the numbers will fall less favorably for the Yellow tribe. And at this double boot, I have Sophie being the first casualty, unfortunately not making the merge. And our second casualty of the double boot tribe split episode is Nate Moore, who I have as our 11th place finisher and our first juror. I don't have many notes on Nate. I feel like he is a player who could go out super early or make it super deep into the game. There are a lot of variables for Nate. Can't pinpoint exactly where I think he will go. So in this simulation, I have him as our first juror. All right, so we are now at the final 10. This is where all the players come back together. To recap, we have 4 players from the blue Kele tribe. We have 3 players from the red Uli tribe and 3 players from the yellow Hina tribe. At the final 10, the original Kele tribe will have the majority. And I see them being the swing vote between the 2 previous tribes for Hina and Uli. In this prediction, I have them teaming with the red Uli tribe, Rizzo, Jawan, and Savannah. And this starts the steamroll of the yellow Hina. 10th place, I have Miss Christina Mills. In my prediction, I have the Hina tribe falling on the bottom. So the yellow tribe, and while not a player who is physically imposing, I feel as though Christina will be a strong social threat, someone who is super likable and can relate to everybody on the beach, which if we have learned anything in the new era, the social players are the ones you have to watch out for. And I feel like that's going to be a mark against her, which will end up leading her to 10th place. And following right behind Christina is Jason, also from the Hina tribe. I have him coming in 9th place as our third juror. Jason, I feel like is just going to end up on the wrong side of the numbers, unfortunately. I don't think he is necessarily going to play poorly. He is super likable, and I feel like having a conversation with him, he can befriend quite literally anybody who he comes in contact with. Unfortunately, I just don't see him going deep in this specific prediction, so I do have him as our third juror in 9th place. All right, and to spice the game up a little bit, I have Sophie B going out in 8th place as our 4th juror. This is, I guess you could say, where the pendulum swings a little bit. In this prediction, I have the Kele tribe taking out one of their own. Unfortunately for Sophie, I feel like she is going to play a little too hard and is going to get caught being messy, whether that be trying to turn against one of her allies or just simply overplaying her hand and getting caught. Sophie is a hustler. She is a business owner and an absolute go-getter. And while that is great and that does translate to the game of Survivor, I feel like if you do it too hard, too overtly, too much in public, it can come back to bite you. And unfortunately for Sophie B, that is what I have in this prediction. She just gets caught with her hand in the cookie jar, unfortunately. And so I have her 8th place as our 4th juror. In 7th place, I have Savannah Louie. As I mentioned on the previous prediction for Sophie B, this is where the pendulum continues to swing. As of right now, I have 3 original Kelly in Alex, Annie, and Nicole. 3 original Uli in Rizzo, Jawan, and Savannah. And Matt stands alone as the only former Hina tribe member. At this point in the prediction, I have Matt as our swing vote, basically choosing which side of the fence he wants to land on. Does he go with the Uli? Does he go with the Kelly? I have Matt teaming up with the former Kelly tribe and Savannah being the first casualty of that new alliance. Savannah is someone that I am predicting to play a very strong game. Obviously, we have the knowledge of her coming back for season 50, but with that set aside, I feel like she might be someone her tribe mates might not see coming. She's very charismatic. She is a former reporter, so she is used to dealing with a lot of different personalities, and I feel like that will be used in her advantage. Uli is on the bottom. Savannah just went home. In 6th place, I have Jawan Pitts as our 6th juror. Jawan, in my opinion, is probably the most likable person on this beach, on this entire cast, actually. He looks very angry in a lot of his press photos, but once you peel back those layers and you actually watch his Meet the Cast videos, he is so charming, so likable. He has an infectious smile that will light up a room, and I feel like that will translate to the game. And while that can be great, it can also be a double-edged sword. Quite frankly, Jawan is too charismatic and too likable to make it much further in the game. And so while I don't see him being necessarily strong strategically or physically, I feel like his likability will ride him deep into the game. In this prediction, I have him in 6th place. All right, so in my simulation, we are at the final 5. I have Alex, Annie, Nicole, Rizzo, and Matt. In this prediction, I actually have Rizzo winning individual immunity, which leads the Kelly tribe and Matt to go against their own. Unfortunately, I have Nicole going out in 5th place as our 7th juror. Much like Jawan, I feel like she is too likable to go much deeper into the game. And quite frankly, I feel like Nicole will play a very strong game and be one of our top players of the season. It only makes sense for a big threat to go home in this spot. In 4th place, I have Rizzo. He is our fire-making loser and the final member of the jury. In this simulation, I actually have Matt beating Rizzo in the fire-making challenge, making our final 3, Annie, Alex, and Matt. I feel like Rizzo is going to play a very strong game. I feel like he got a bad rap based on the season 49 preview. A lot of people were very down on him coming into the season. However, once you watch his videos and get to know him a little bit, this man has worked from the bottom his entire life, and he is an absolute go-getter. I feel like he's going to come in and play this game very hard, very cutthroat, and he's going to leave everything on the table. Unfortunately, I have him narrowly losing fire-making to Matt, and as I said, he is in 4th place as our final juror. All right, so that leaves us of a final 3 of Alex, Annie, and Matt. A very unique final 3 that I've not really seen on any other people's boards. This is a strange collection of players who most people might not see collaborating and working well together. However, I feel like I see all of these players going very deep, obviously, as you see in my prediction, and I can see each of them being very strong in their own unique ways. In 3rd place, I have Matt Williams. So Matt is an interesting one for me. I don't feel like Matt will have a lot of strategic chops. I don't think he will play a strong strategic game. I feel like he will be very likable, but not likable enough to win over a final tribal council. I just have this weird feeling about Matt where he is going to jump ship on his allies at the merge and unfortunately coast a little bit throughout the game. Every season has to have a GOAT, and if we have to have one, I would at least like for them to be likable, which I do feel like Matt is. And so in this prediction, I do have Matt as our 0-vote finalist. In 2nd place is Annie Davis. Annie is one who I could see really going anywhere from the pre-merge to the end of the game. There's actually a simulation in which I predicted her to be our season winner. She has a unique personality, and she is not your cliche older woman. Watching her videos, I feel as though she is probably my number one favorite person coming into the season, which I was not expecting prior to watching all the Meet the Castaway videos. She is a very intelligent woman. She has a doctorate degree. She is a CEO of her own company. And I feel like she can play a very, very, very strong game. Unfortunately for her, I have the person that she is fighting against in the final tribal council edging out just a few more votes, which leaves Annie in second place. And so our sole survivor and our winner of Survivor 49, I have Alex Moore. I don't know what it is about Alex specifically. Part of it is his smile. Part of it is his charisma. I feel like he is going to get on the beach and become everyone's best friend. And while saying that, I also feel like he will play low-key enough to where they don't identify him as being the biggest threat. If he can get into a majority alliance at the start of the merge, grab his people, grab his allies, and navigate to the end, I see him being a fantastic winner. Not just a good, likable winner, but I could see a world where he plays a very strong game. As long as Alex can come in and not be the shining star of the season, as long as he can humble himself and take a back seat through the majority of the merge game, I could see him having a resurgence at the end. I can see him being a strong leader in this majority alliance that ultimately leads him to the final tribal council. And he is a player who I feel like checks every box. I feel like socially he will do well. Strategically, he will do phenomenal. I feel like physically he has the chops to win immunity challenges when necessary. I see him utilizing advantages and idols to the betterment of his game and the game of those around him. And so ultimately, in a 5-3-0 vote, I have Alex Moore as our sole survivor and winner of Survivor 49. All right, and there you have it. My predictions for season 49 of Survivor. I have Alex Moore as our sole survivor. Let me know what you think about my predictions in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe. I will be posting weekly Survivor content. And until next time, the tribe has spoken.